Welcome back. It's time for Mad Markets with Paul Theron. Paul, thanks very much indeed for coming through. Is the giant in the US waking up?
Well, it looks as though the economic data out of there has been quite good if you add up all the employment data from last week and so on and so forth. So that argument about austerity and stimulus and the role of the Fed, anyway, the Americans for the moment look to be doing the right things. But the analysts there seem to be saying, okay, well, we're doing fine now. All we need is these damn Europeans to get their situation sorted out, and then we can go stronger. But my own sense of markets is the Americans don't really, they say they're worried about European issues, but in the main, the market there moves in relation to their economic data. So
absolutely, but very soon, Paul, they will have no excuse to be blaming the Europeans, because according to the headlines that we saw coming out today, there appears to be some kind of singing from the same hymn sheet, if you like, between the French and German leaders.
Yeah, but my sense of it is that's how it's been since the beginning. So
they have been together.
They have been talking together, and every opportunity they've had, they've indicated that they're talking from the same hymn sheet and so on and so forth. But I don't know, we've had too many false dawns, I guess, out of Europe for us to be totally convinced. But these things are strange, aren't they? To some extent, issues worry the market until they don't anymore. So a couple of months ago, it was all Greece, 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 Greece.
Right.
Now we don't care about Greece anymore. Now we're talking about Italy, and we'll see where that goes.
I guess you're not putting any money on this.
Well, in fact, we've been long and strong the whole way through. So we've been saying this crisis is unlike, is in fact similar to all the other ones we've had. The Asian contagion and this thing and that thing. Yeah. So our sense has been if you are out of the market because of this European thing, that's in fact the mistake that you ought not to be making.
Yeah.
So we think people should be in these markets, not out.
Yeah. Whatever happens to the Europeans, it doesn't really matter, because one way or the other, Santa is coming. We are going to have Santa.
Well, this idea of a Santa Claus rally is, of course, the idea that you should have a big run-up before Christmas, and is often the case. More often than not, because the Americans are now back in the office. They've got no excuses to be anywhere else. So on balance, we've got to be getting in and staying in.
Yeah. Okay. Finally, let's talk about a very important subject here. Gideon Gono, Central Bank Governor of Zimbabwe, is lecturing the US Fed Reserve on, you guessed it, how to print money.
Monetary policy, yeah. No, this was a funny story, and I thought it was relevant given you've got Zimbabwean roots. I must tell you about this. In a speech in Gweri last week, Gideon Gono, which of course that economy is totally dollarized, as you know. So now he's saying, well, he's worried about the Fed's policies. They're not sufficiently disciplined, and if they don't look after their affairs, they're going to have an inflation problem. And while they're on the subject, he thinks they should move their reserve currency issues to the yuan, which is of course the Chinese currency. But only a few people can look past the irony in those exact statements, because they invented the concept.
Absolutely invented the concept, and I'm very glad to say that I broke the story around Gideon Gono printing money in Zimbabwe when I was back at Bloomberg back in the days. But Paul, maybe we should invite the governor to come and have a little chat with us here at Mad Markets.
Excellent idea.
Absolutely.